Hey, what's up, David? This is going to be an early morning demo video for you for the Turn Dooku Saber by Saber Bay and designed by Jimmy Saber Junk with a chassis by James as well. So let's go over my desk and take a look at it. Hey, good morning, David. So we've got your Dooku Saber here, the Turn. We're going to go over it. As you know, was installed with a Jimmy Saber Junk crystal chamber chassis that I'll show you here in a second. This chassis has a lot of different options that you don't typically see for your battery. I have started the video with the kill switch in the on position so that we can come put your battery in here in a second. All right, but as far as switches go, you've got two plunger switches right here. Both of them are wired up to be auxiliary, so you can use either one and you'll get the same function. Coming down here, per your request, I wired up the trigger to be power. All right, so that's what we're doing here. You've got a stock LED connector, or a blade connector rather, but you can see that better when you take this ring right here and you unscrew it. As you unscrew this, I kind of hold on to the back, unscrew this guy. All right, and then you can pull the chassis out just like that. I'll put this off to the side. This is what your chassis looks like. A removable battery set up here. Your board, Proffie V3, slides right into here. You had a lot of different sound fonts that look like from LGT or something. I picked the Dooku font, I left that one on, and I took the rest off. All right, there is a copy of the config file that I made for this on the SD card because this has 3 different blade styles. I did label each one as I typically do, but the first one's going to be your blade. The second one is going to be your crystal chamber here, and then the third one is going to be a 17 pixel accent ring inside this grill area here. But I put a piece of diffusion in there so that you wouldn't see the actual components, and then a lot of the wires go straight through the middle of that guy and into the board, so I wanted to hide that wiring as well, so that's what I did right there. All right, spring side is your negative, so this is your battery. We'll be leaving it in here. Please be very careful with this chassis. You see that little notch right there? There's a notch here and another notch 180 degrees from it right here. This chassis goes in and there's a small set screw that goes into each notch, so here and here. That's the only thing holding this chassis on. It's pretty sturdy, but please be very mindful when you have this outside of the Saber. You just want to be careful. All right, but I've got your crystal pulsing for now. I've got this one doing like a kit scanner. Maybe if I turn the light off here, I know my light's pretty bright. All right, and then when we hit power back here, this ramps up. Your crystal goes solid because it matches your blade. All right, and you've got twist off. So that's what that looks like when it's outside of the Saber. When you want to put it in, just be careful and line it up. You know, the bend in the handle here, or the trigger, you know, the trigger goes on the same side as your plungers, and you're going to want to make sure that when you're putting in the Saber. And when you do, it'll go right in, and then as you're holding the back piece, just kind of screw this back on. All right, don't cross thread it. You're going to want to line up those notches right there. When they find their home, you can screw this all the way on. Very easy to do. It just takes once or twice doing it to get the hang of it. All right, and that's basically that. Holding it about right here makes it easy to. There's one auxiliary switch. The other one, turn it off. Before we put a blade, well, let's go ahead and put a blade in it now. This is made for a 7/8 inch blade. Don't mind the markings on my blade. I use my blades sometimes to help me design chassis. So, there's your blade retention screw is right there. This little guy right here. We're gonna hit power. Lights up a blade very well. Auxiliary. auxiliary, other one, or blade lock up, holding one of these down and hitting the saber. And we'll turn your saber off like that. Now this is a brand new battery, so you're going to want to give it a charge. And speaking of charging your battery, you have a couple different ways to do this. One being how I just showed you, taking it out, taking the battery out, putting it into an external charger, or this way as well. So you want to come over here and this piece right here of your pommel, unscrew it. All right, careful when you unscrew it though, because you have a speaker pod back here that can fall out if you're not careful. So we'll take this, put it off to the side. This drops out into your hand. This is the provided speaker that came with your kit. We'll put that off to the side, and then when you look in here, you've got your kill switch, your stock speaker pogo pins, and you have a standard recharge port. So you don't have to take the battery out if you don't want to. You can charge it from right here. Now we're not going to hear any sound, but I'm going to turn it on. You can see that it's on. We're going to come over here and flip the switch off. Now it's off. It's a bit of a long boy to put in camera, but you see if I'm hitting the power, then there's no power there. All right. So that's what you've got inside this. Just take this speaker pod when you're done. It fits back in there nicely, and then screw your pommel back in. So when you screw this pommel in, you want to make sure that you have it screwed on nice and tight. And that is basically how you operate this saber. So that is your turn, or the turn, Dooku saber. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will try to get this out in the mail to you today. Thanks.